For centuries, archaeologists have been baffled by the Great Pyramids of Egypt. How could the ancient Egyptians, without the aid of modern technology, have engineered such massive structures? And what secrets did these pyramids hold about the pharaohs who built them? The answer lies in a fascinating new discovery that's shedding light on how the pharaohs engineered their empire and maintained their power. Join us as we uncover the secrets of the pyramid and the ingenious methods used by the pharaohs to keep their grip on Egypt. The pyramids, marvel of engineering and symbol of power. The ancient pyramids are a testament to the ingenuity and power of the Egyptian pharaohs. But have you ever wondered how they were built? What engineering techniques did the Egyptians use to construct these massive structures? The answer lies in a recent discovery that's giving us new insights into the construction methods of the pyramids. According to National Geographic, researchers discovered that the ancient builders used ramps made of earth and brick to transport huge blocks to the top of the pyramids. These ramps, which would be discarded once the structure was complete, were essential for building the steep, angled sides of the pyramids. While this discovery has provided valuable insight into the construction methods of the pyramids, it also raises new questions about the pharaohs who built them. What role did the pharaohs play in the construction process? And how did they maintain their power over the workforce? The pharaohs' role in construction and control of labor. The pharaohs were not just religious figures, but also the supreme authority in ancient Egypt. They controlled all aspects of society, including the economy, justice system, and even the labor force. During the construction of the pyramids, the pharaohs had a direct role in overseeing the entire process. They appointed officials to manage the workforce and ensure that the construction stayed on schedule and within budget. The pharaohs also took an active interest in the design and layout of the pyramids, making sure that they were aligned with the cardinal directions and that they would serve as an eternal resting place for them and their families. To maintain control over the workforce, the pharaohs implemented a system of rewards and punishments. Workers who met their quotas and followed the rules were rewarded with higher wages and better working conditions. Those who didn't comply faced penalties ranging from fines to exile or even death. The pharaohs also used propaganda to promote their image as benevolent rulers who cared for the well-being of their people. They built temples and monuments across the empire, including the famous Sphinx, which served as a reminder of their divine authority. Overall, the pharaohs were deeply involved in every aspect of pyramid construction, from planning and design to labor control and public image. Their goal was to create an everlasting legacy that would ensure their place in history and solidify their power over their subjects. Engineering techniques and innovations? The pharaohs were not only powerful rulers, but also innovative engineers who developed sophisticated techniques to build their massive empire. They developed a highly advanced system of canals and dams to irrigate their crops and provide water for their people. This allowed them to grow crops in the fertile Nile River Valley and sustain a large population. The pharaohs also developed a unique form of writing called hieroglyphics, which allowed them to record their history, laws, and religious beliefs. This system of writing helped to preserve ancient Egyptian culture and knowledge for future generations. In addition, the pharaohs were skilled architects who designed impressive buildings like the pyramids and temples that are still standing today. They used advanced geometry and engineering principles to create these structures, which were not only functional, but also served as symbols of their power and wealth. The pharaohs also developed a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and used it to develop a calendar and predict the annual flooding of the Nile River. This allowed them to plan their agricultural activities and avoid the destructive floods that could wipe out their crops. Overall, the pharaohs were highly intelligent rulers who used their knowledge of science, engineering, and mathematics to build a thriving empire that lasted for thousands of years. Power and authority. The pharaohs held absolute power and authority in ancient Egypt. They were considered to be divine rulers who were chosen by the gods to lead their people. The pharaoh's power was not limited to the religious sphere, but extended to every aspect of Egyptian society. They were the supreme judges, law enforcement officials, and military commanders. No one could challenge the pharaoh's authority or disobey their commands. The pharaohs also controlled the economy of ancient Egypt. They owned all the land and property in the kingdom and appointed officials to collect taxes and administer justice. The pharaohs used their wealth to build grand projects like the pyramids and temples, which not only displayed their power, but also provided jobs and economic opportunities for their people. However, the pharaohs' power was not absolute. They were often constrained by the power of the Egyptian gods. The pharaohs had to appease the gods through religious rituals and offerings to ensure their favor. If the pharaohs were seen as neglecting their religious duties, they risked losing the support of their people and their own power. Additionally, the pharaohs' power was also limited by the capabilities of their infrastructure. The lack of an effective transportation system made it difficult for the pharaohs to exert their authority over the vast empire. The absence of a strong military also posed a constant threat to the stability of the kingdom. Despite these limitations, the pharaohs remained the most powerful rulers in ancient Egypt. Their authority was unquestioned and their power was unrivaled. They were both feared and revered by their subjects who saw them as the embodiment of the Egyptian gods on earth, maintaining stability and control. The pharaohs employed a variety of strategies to maintain stability and control over their vast empire. One of their most effective methods was the use of a professional bureaucracy to administer their territories. This bureaucracy consisted of appointed officials who were responsible for collecting taxes, enforcing laws, and maintaining order. By placing loyal and competent officials in key positions, the pharaohs ensured that their authority was respected and obeyed throughout the kingdom. Another important tool for maintaining stability was the construction of infrastructure projects such as roads, canals, and bridges. These projects not only facilitated trade and communication, but also served as symbols of the pharaoh's power and wealth. The pharaohs also used their control over the economy to maintain stability. They carefully regulated the production and distribution of goods and services to ensure that there was enough to satisfy the needs of their subjects while also generating revenue for the state. The pharaohs also implemented a system of law in order to maintain stability and control over their empire. They established courts to settle disputes and punish criminals, and they maintained a standing army to defend the kingdom from external threats. The pharaohs also used religion as a tool for maintaining stability. They identified themselves as divine rulers chosen by the gods to lead their people, and they used their religious authority to legitimize their power and enforce their rule. Finally, the pharaohs employed a network of spies and informants to monitor their subjects and gather intelligence on potential threats to their authority. This network of informants allowed the pharaohs to stay informed about potential rebellions or plots against them and take swift action to suppress them. Overall, the pharaohs' ability to maintain stability and control over their empire can be attributed to their efficient use of resources, their emphasis on law and order, and their skillful manipulation of religion and the economy. Challenges and threats to authority. Despite the pharaohs' best efforts to maintain stability and control over their empire, they faced numerous challenges and threats throughout their reign. One of the most significant threats to the pharaoh's authority was internal rebellion. As the empire grew, it became increasingly difficult for the pharaohs to keep their subjects happy and content. Discontent could easily turn into open rebellion, which would destabilize the empire and potentially lead to its collapse. To prevent rebellions, the pharaohs had to carefully balance the interests of different groups within their empire and make sure that everyone felt like they were being treated fairly. Another major threat to the pharaoh's authority was external invasion. The Egyptian empire was surrounded by other powerful civilizations, many of whom would have liked nothing more than to conquer Egypt and claim its vast riches for themselves. To protect their empire, the pharaohs had to maintain a strong military and be prepared to defend their borders at all times. Natural disasters also posed a significant threat to the stability of the Egyptian empire. Floods, droughts, and other natural disasters could devastate the economy and cause widespread famine and death. When people were struggling to survive, they were more likely to turn against the pharaoh and demand that he take action to protect them. To mitigate the impact of natural disasters, the pharaohs had to invest in infrastructure projects, like dams and irrigation systems that would help them control the flooding of the Nile River and ensure that their subjects had access to food and water. In conclusion, the pharaohs of ancient Egypt were some of the most powerful rulers in history. They held absolute power and authority in their empire, but they also faced numerous challenges and threats to their rule. Through innovative engineering, control of labor, and a focus on stability and prosperity, the pharaohs were able to maintain their grip on Egypt for centuries. But it was ultimately their ability to adapt to changing circumstances and overcome challenges that allowed them to build one of the most impressive empires in history. From the construction of the pyramids to the regulation of the economy, the pharaohs of ancient Egypt left behind a legacy that continues to inspire awe and wonder today. Now it's your turn to share your thoughts. What do you find most fascinating about the pharaohs of ancient Egypt? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more informative videos like this. Thank you for watching.